to the house. And I'm the bookkeeper of 4 smoke shops, but I do not smoke marijuana because it's nasty and illegal and naughty and it's just so poo. But I'm assuming that the McAllen Police Department that assumed would have assumed that I did, even though I don't, because of my love of the Jesus. And so I am walking down. It's First Street, and I just got my earbuds on. I got my backpack on, and I'm just chilling. All of a sudden, a flashlight appears on me, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And so I'm thinking to myself, "A flashlight appears on me. I'm scared. I kind of want to back away. I don't know what's going on." And so I stand just absolutely still, and I pull out my earplugs, and this light is from far, far away, and I stand there for like 10 seconds with this look on my face that says, "What's going on? Huh? Huh? Huh?" I'm not stepping back or anything. I'm just waiting to hear someone explain why they are shining a flashlight at me. Like 15 seconds pass, 15, 20 seconds, I don't know. And I'm just like, all right, fine, nothing's going to happen. And so I very slowly creep walking with this look on my face of, huh? What's going on? I'm confused, huh? And I keep walking, and then the flashlight is taken off of me, and nothing's on me. So I put my earbuds back in and I keep on walking. I come to the intersection of First Street and Jonquil, where this police officer is standing with 2 young men. And I just look over at him and I just keep on walking. I go down half a block, I turn around. The cop whose back was to me is turned and looking at me, and the 2 young guys he was talking to were looking at me. My suspicion, that cop was shining a light on me in hopes that I was going to turn away. My defense would have been to say I didn't hear him announce that he was a cop because I had my earbuds in. But he had those 2 guys with him. Maybe they had recently been arrested, and he said, "If you say in court that you did hear me announce myself as a police officer and then he walked away, we'll drop your charges." I don't know. This is just a conjecture. But this happened 1 month after I called the FBI asserting that the McAllen police might very well be conspiring against me. Something to think about. I don't trust cops because of what I've been through. And the fact that they, like, when you piss them off and you don't respect that identity they have of the protect and serve and we're heroes and all that nonsense, they come out, they come for you. They come for you. It's a part of this relationship with law enforcement. Their narcissism must be acknowledged at all times and respected. Okay, and so, like, that's what I've been through with cops. And then this is something else that I recognize just about the narcissism of law enforcement. A friend of mine had a cardiac event a couple of years ago. He calls me to let me know, and so I go to visit him at the hospital. This was in May of 2019, if I am not mistaken. Or 2020. No, it was 2019. So my friend tells me he's in the hospital. Of course, I'm going to go visit him. I'm walking down the hallway at the hospital, and we had heard in the news a month before that a member of the Texas Department of Public Safety had been shot and was very badly wounded, head wound, and was at this hospital being treated. It was known throughout the news he was being treated. Now, when a member of law enforcement's in the hospital, they station 2 deputies out there to keep them safe. Now, I understand. I was kind of adopting the attitude that I almost expect I'm supposed to express against law enforcement, which is one of sort of a sycophantic respect to satisfy their narcissism, to make it less likely that they're going to hurt me. And so I'm passing by these 2 deputies, and I know that there is an injured deputy. They have said us he is being treated at Doctor's Hospital at Renaissance. And so I see these deputies, and I say, "Oh my gosh, is this the gentleman who has been injured?" Uh, who has been injured. And there were 2 deputies, one a gentleman, one a man, and the other one a woman. And the woman's just on her phone, and she just looks up at me as if I'm just scum. And then the guy looks at me and glares and says, "We can't violate HIPAA." And I thought to myself, I felt a separation, a bounce back, an offense. And I said, "Oh gosh, well, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I thank you very much for the difficult jobs that you do." And he just looks at me and nods, and then the girl on her phone just looks up at me and then goes back. I proceed to my friend's hospital room. He was in the bathroom at the moment, so I was just looking around, and the DPS must have loved him. I was just dismissed. I was some little shit, just some little tart, just going through this hospital, just looking to talk to my friend. I go into his room, and there he has 3 DPS badges. And I thought to myself, I asked him, I was like, "Well, they're really nice to you," because they blew me off out there. And he was like, "Oh, they just came by to talk. They're really nice. They're really friendly." And I thought to myself, why is it that the DPS wants to be nice? Is it just because he's a patient in a hospital? What is it about me being an individual young short person walking through a hospital to meet someone that gets dismissed and condescended to? And why is my friend who's in the hospital getting all of these badges and fun conversations? And it occurred to me that the narcissism of law enforcement might want to respect and appreciate other folks who they perceive to be of a superior status. If this is the case, it would make sense to me, because like the DPS folks would see my friend as being a position of status because his wife works at the hospital as the president of it. And so the DPS would be like, oh hey, we're of superior social status within the social order. This dude's married to someone who is of great prominence, and so if we're nice to him, he'll say nice things about us, and our social currency goes up. I don't like law enforcement. I am not impressed. I really hate that attitude that they've got. Now, this pretty much wraps up what I've been through with law enforcement. And now I'm going to move on to what some of my friends have been through. My employer, Carlos Maldonado, used to sell spice back in 2012. All the smoke shops down here in the Rio Grande Valley did. However, DEA agent Martez took a very special interest in just taking down the Maldonado brothers. He put together a case saying that they were the distributors of spice throughout the Hidalgo County smoke shops so that he could justify RICO charges. Here's the thing. Carlos and his brother Lee, who also owned a chain of smoke shops, never distributed to other people. They only sold. Not only that, none of the other smoke shop owners who sold spice were charged. Only Carlos and Lee. And here's where it gets really fun. DEA agent Martez was not even able to put together a case that a federal prosecutor wanted. When the federal prosecutor said no, he took it to the Hidalgo County District Attorney. And my belief is that the district attorney took it up not because he thought it was a good case, but because he didn't want to piss off a member of the Drug Enforcement Agency. So the county picks up this case. Now, if it's the county that's prosecuting it, it should go through the state court system. But Carlos, his brother Lee, and 3 of their employees find themselves being driven down to the federal courthouse for arraignment. And so this Martez, I'm guessing, really wanted to put on a show. So even though the federal prosecutor said no, he was able to get this district attorney, Hidalgo County prosecutor, to say yes, but has it done in the federal courthouse. What's going on? I think Martez is just putting on a show. As Carlos Lee and his friends are being transported to county for processing, the other agents are even telling them, we told him there was no case. We told him to drop this. When they get to county, Martez wants to psychologically break Carlos and Lee to get them to plead guilty. So he puts both of them in different gang tanks. Not general holding. Neither of them are in gangs. Their lives are being put at risk by a member of law enforcement, DEA agent Martez, so he gets what he wants. A guilty plea in a case that a federal prosecutor didn't even want to pick up. A case that his fellow agent said was not even there. DEA agent Martez is a bully because he came in to talk to Carlos and was saying, I take down bad guys. I take down bad guys. I take down bad guys. This guy doesn't even look at the law to see what is someone doing and doesn't break the law. He looks at someone, decides they're a bad guy, and then uses the law however he needs to take that person down. Now, Carlos was sentenced to some 10 years of probation, and the state, folks, the county folks handling this, because while he had to be arraigned in federal court, it was all administered by the state courts. And he, I think, 10 years probation, and he served 4 and he was off. But now he's considered a felon, so he can't vote, even though he pays a lot more in taxes than most folks make in a year. No taxation without representation. We got to finally, we got to bring up that fundamental tenet of what founded this nation and apply it in modern times to folks who might have a felony but pay taxes. So let them still have a voice. They might have messed up. They've already have enough of their life encumbered by what potential they have. Let them have a voice so that they can have their elected representatives say they might have done wrong, but they deserve to be treated better. Just my thoughts. No taxation without representation. So, if you're a felon and you can't vote, you shouldn't have to pay taxes. Okay, so that's what Carlos went through, and I love that man to death. He has been a pillar of stability for me while I've been going through all of this and figuring it out. So now I'm going to come to the cases of other folks that I have found that really freak me out. I'm not going to say their names, and even though there are dates on these documents, you could look them up. But I'm going to ask that if you do look them up and you find them, please don't show their mugshots. Let's not give that power to law enforcement to delegitimize and invalidate people's identity, which would intimidate us in such a manner not to piss off law enforcement so the same does not happen to us. If you look these dudes up, I'm asking, please don't post their mugshots. Let's not give law enforcement that power they want to have by making mugshots public. So, this dude, let me see, I'm going for this one first. This guy's arrested on April 2nd for 2 charges. One has a bond set at $1,000, the other the bond at $2,000. Here in Texas, Hidalgo County, that's 10%. $300 would have gotten him out. I noticed that there is a 3rd charge on April 3rd, assault of a peace officer. Now, immediately, I think back to what I went through in Travis County with that L-shaped corridor, and I immediately believe that this guy was arrested maybe 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, gets taken back to county. It's by that time 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They give him the rub down through the L-shaped corridor, and he's so exhausted he doesn't have the discipline to glue his hand to his leg so as not even to make a gesture to assault. So my belief is that it was not a genuine assault against a peace officer. I think they conspired against him the way I was conspired against in Travis County. Now, this guy appears to, this guy's got some courage. Because as I look at this, I don't have the patience to do fancy editing, so you're just going to have to put up with me showing you this stuff. And I've deleted out as much of the personal information as possible so you can't actually track this guy down. But this is what I just like, and I hope this shows up somewhat. So gosh, where the hell are my reading glasses? Okay, so the guy is arrested on April 3rd. This is the charge. The April 2nd charges were dismissed. And so, as you look at this, how it goes, they have the indictment, which actually says what he did wrong on May 7th. Now, May 28th, it's precept. When someone is in custody, the precept means that the arraignment, that documentation is delivered to them in custody. You either get the precept while you are in custody, or if you have been released from custody, the arraignment is sent out to you. That is the notification that you need to be in court to declare guilty or not guilty, so that the trial can then proceed. Now, la 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 la. And so I'm going down this list, and through all of this time, this guy is here. The defendant did not appear. Now, this is something. Now, where did I see it? June 1st did not appear.